So now we will welcome a super cool angel investor, the former head of brand of Spotify. Please give a big hand to Sophia Bendz. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So lovely to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here.
So you have a background both from Spotify, and right now you are an investor. So what are your thoughts about impact in general?
Oh, that's
I guess a big question.
It's a big question, but I think from my direct sort of experience with Spotify, what I saw was that nothing is impossible. I know it sounds like a cliche, but we actually sort of lived it. Lots of people told us many, many times what you're trying to do is not going to work, but we proved them wrong. So I have that naivety in me, which I think is a good thing. The second thing was that we actually saw firsthand how people's behavior can change. So with Spotify offering a legal product that gave both artists and rights holders compensation in a fair way, we presented a new way of consuming music. So we shifted the behavior from owning to access. So for me, when it comes to impact, I feel like I've seen it up front. I believe we can make change together. And I think it can happen faster than we believe. Like if we look back to our time, I think plastic bottles, I'm sure they will be banned globally fairly soon, or at least I hope so. And I bet, our kids will tell us, like, how come you had plastic bottles and you had steak for lunch? What were you thinking?
Yeah, we hope so. And you have invested in a number of edtech companies.
Yes, that's correct.
So tell us why. Why is edtech so interesting and important?
So I think edtech and health tech are close to my heart, mainly because, I don't know, it feels like education is one of the core pillars in a healthy society. It brings, helps democracy and equality. And today we have the technology to educate people in a larger scale than we have done before. Yeah. And I see no reason for why we cannot democratize education. So that's why I'm keen to find entrepreneurs that are sort of willing to go with me on that mission. And I think we're going to meet a few entrepreneurs later on that can talk more to it.
So going to you, Sophia, what is your drivers and how do you learn new things?
That's also a good question. I feel like we have access to so much information today. If you just have the time, I mean, it's all on the internet, more or less. Mm-hmm. But my nature is to be curious and to engage with people. And in the meetings with people that I admire and learn from, I feel like that energy gives me more energy that I want to foster and do something interesting with. And then I also am fortunate enough to have a job where it's part of my job to be curious and to be sort of leaned in and understand what new technology is all about.
That's
so
cool.
I think it's a good combination.
Thank you so much. So welcome. You see? Lisa, are you back? You will introduce next speaker as well, and we will come back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I have a new star with me.
Yeah.
This
Sophia?
is...
Oh, should I stay here? I'm so sorry.
Join the party.
Faris?
Yes.
You're the co-founder of Changers Hub.
Yeah.
And you are A&R at Pistol Management.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Can we start with Changers Hub? I mean, ever since I heard about it, I've been talking to, every person I know about this, but maybe not all in this room knows yet. So what is Changers Hub?
Changers Hub. Let me give you a quick background. So why we started Changers Hub was because that we felt that someone in this world, in this country especially, needs to even out the odds. Because we feel that not everyone starts at the same line when creating an idea or just, exploring ideas. Everyone has a different kind of, in Swedish we call it startsträcka, a starting line to succeed and to reach a successful idea. So we started this kind of safe space, I would call it, for entrepreneurs outside the suburbs, especially today, for safety, just to meet each other, talk ideas, and help each other out. Changes Hub, I used to call it the best friend that has like the network, the knowledge, and all the inspiration you need to go forward with ideas.
And how many members do you have today?
Actually, just today we went just under 2,000 entrepreneurs, so Swedish entrepreneurs. So yeah. But that's hard work. That's hard work. Blood, sweat, and all that kind of stuff is everything.
But I'm so thankful that you're doing it. And I think very often, especially here in Stockholm, we talk about these different innovation hubs. And at those hubs, there are like 50 companies, or maybe 100, or maybe 200. Here we go, 2,000. I think that is like an unpolished diamond that so many more people need to hear about.
A different kind of unicorn, I would call it.
Yeah, a different kind of unicorn.
Yeah.
A changer's unicorn.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah. Yeah. I would
and then you have another part of you being A&R.
Exactly.
And what is that about?
So I'm working as a A&R founder together with my partner, a publishing and a management company, where we, it's the same thing at Changes Hub. It's two different things that ignite the fireworks within me. First is talking about ideas, just exploring and just, hanging with a friend and just talking ideas. The other thing is finding new music. I can listen to 1,000 tracks. The track after that, if that is a good track for me, I will start to dance, start to just scream out and everything, even though it's middle of the night. So for now, I'm exploring that side of me. Yeah.
And would you say that, it's the same with Changes Hub, that it's the same a longer starting line for some people? And is that also kind of connected to
the music?
Yeah.
I will say that because just to give you a perspective, just for me, living, I was born in Kalmar, small city, but then raised in Botkyrka here in Stockholm. Just for me, just to give you a quite clear perspective, the first person I knew that played guitar was when I was 17 years old. So even though I didn't look for a person that could play guitar, I could find that quite early. It's just my environment. I don't have that in my environment. And as a kid, you don't explore that because you can't be the things that you don't see. You understand? So if I don't see people playing music, I wouldn't chase after that because I can't I don't see that. And I couldn't even identify me with those kind of things. So I would just chase things that I feel it's concrete for me. So for me, it's the same thing. And one of our producers, we found him on SoundCloud. So we were just scouting, talking about technology. We found him on SoundCloud, and he was just a bedroom producer that was he was from Gothenburg, 15 years old, and he had no idea what kind of dreams we give him. And yesterday, we got our golden plaque for him producing More Than You Know with Axel and Negrosso.
Okay.
So just talking about technology, music, and just lowering barriers. That's just that guy, Rickard Sasstänker, Carl Lyon, is a perfect example, and we need more of that.
Definitely, we need more of you. And just one last question: when it comes to education, what do you think that we need to change in society? Because I hear you that you don't think it's really fair yet.
Yeah.
So what do we need to change when it far as education?
Yeah, I think a lot because last week I spoke with a colleague about just our gymnasium, or how we call it, high school. Yeah, high school. And I just gave it a fair thought and was the most things I learned in school was between classes. That's kind of sick. If you just give us the most things I use it today. My social skills, my everything. It was between classes. Yeah. So not to lowering the Swedish education, not for that. It's just because, just for me, it wasn't adaptive for me. And I couldn't feel I couldn't see the path between classroom knowledge and just taking it to the real world. So I think we need more examples of how, just practices of how we can take classroom knowledge out to the real world, the hard world.
The real hard world. And just one last question, because I'm so curious. That safe space that because I also talked about that. Like, you cannot nurture any curiosity, I think, if you don't have that safe space. How do you, I mean, you've been doing this for a while now. How do you create that safe space?
You know, I think it's like, just for me, I don't tell creative ideas because in some kind of spaces because I feel like I could be laughed at. So for me, it's just creating that kind of dynamic where there's no stupid ideas. Just, you know, just...
You high-five any idea.
Any idea at first, and then just taking step by step. And fortunately, we have created that kind of dynamic within Changes Hub, outside in our hub in Botkyrka, where people that doesn't know us, that has never seen us, they feel that kind of dynamic. So they can come to a coaching time for the first time, and still in that first time feel like they can just throw all stupid ideas. You get me? So just in creativity, especially within music, we need to create more of that kind of safe space where we don't put, how we call it in English, krav. We don't put demands and rules of each other. Just be yourself. It should be your rules, actually. You that coming to my space, it should be your rules because you're the one that has something vulnerable that needs to be blossomed. Understand? So
yes.
Thank you.
Let's all learn from you. Let's create those safe spaces where we can take that vulnerability and let it blossom. A big hand and welcome to the panel.
So let's start our second and last panel on education, and we have one more panelist to welcome. Joel Hellermark. Wow. Woo-hoo! Woo!
And this is the first time we meet you, Joel. Can you just tell us a little bit about your company, Sauna Labs?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Joel Hellermark. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Sauna Labs. And the core of Sauna Labs, the mission is to provide personalized education for everyone, everywhere. And essentially how we do that is that we apply recent breakthroughs in the field of artificial intelligence to personalize educational content to each student. So based on your strengths and weaknesses and how you learn, we recommend the optimal next exercise or explanation for you in real time. So we partner up with the world's largest education companies. Could be anything from language learning to K-12 mathematics, and help them provide a completely personalized user experience to each student.
Wow.
Yeah. So for you, then, technology is really a catalyst for a better education in society.
Yes, exactly. So I really see sort of education as the great equalizer, and I think what technology does really well is that it takes these tasks that were previously not scalable and make them available at scale. And one of these tasks in education is to personalize the curriculum. So what you would like to provide is a personal teacher for each student in the whole world. But of course, that's not scalable. But the question is, like, how can technology come into play and create a personalized experience at scale? And that's where I see technology playing a big role in education and in the personalization of it.
And Sophia, when you are listening to both Faraz and Joel, what is your reflections?
I find it really inspiring, and you talked about role models, and I couldn't agree more. I'm in the field of investing, and there's too few women doing investment. So I think, like you said, if we don't see someone else doing it, you don't think it's for you. So having people, doing interviews, being on stages, just showing the world that it's actually for you too, and also sit on boards or have leading positions. It could be a young woman with sneakers. It doesn't need to be an old man in a suit. So role models is a big thing. And when Joel talks, I can just sort of agree that I think it's really exciting, and I think it will happen so much with education and technology in the upcoming years. So I can't wait for us to have this discussion in 5 years.
Sounds great. And you know each other.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about, because you're sitting in different chairs right now, of how helpful it is to work together.
Yeah, it's actually quite a funny story. I think Sophia invested in me over Messenger. Like, and it turned out pretty well, but it was sort of a very bold bet. And I think that's really sort of a characteristic of Sophia. She bets a lot on people, and then she connects them with the right sort of ideas and people to make sort of dreams a reality. And that's really what happened to us. So Sophia connected us with our first CMO, with the first investors in the company, and with all of the right people to really make what was at that point sort of an idea to reality. So yeah, it was really a bold bet, I think, on me back then, and that's really sort of a testament of how you invest, I think.
Oh, that's an interesting way to hear it from you like that, but it makes me feel glad. And I agree. I think I invest early on in people that I believe in with a big mission, that are bold enough and also driven enough. And you have all of that, of course. So yeah, it's been a great investment so far, and it's also one of my favorite investments because I sort of fully believe in whole my body and heart and mind that this is super important.
Yeah, it is.
So far as we've listening now to this AI expert, how can the two of you collaborate?
We actually spoke a bit about how similar we work, but the difference is like the thing Sauna Labs does is they can put it in a much higher scale. We can just do our courses for our members at that hub, but like besides all the things about adapting courses and education and so on, I think we need to speak more about accessibility. That it could be accessible on the net or whatever, but you also have to feel it's accessible for you. And that's the things, that's our that's my passion about it, and that's why I go to scenes like this, to just show myself and feel, and show other people about like, this is accessible for you as much as it is for the next person. So I just love things that adapt and gives a concrete picture of how it can be used. That's why I just came to him like, yo, I love Sauna Labs. The things you do, we should work in some kind of way, but yeah.
Sure. I've been to Polar Talks a couple of times, and I've seen what happened behind the scenes, and I know that several collaborations have started just like that. So it's almost like I want to invite the two of you back next year, because I really think that you can scale the things that they're doing at Changers Hub, and I would love for this thingy, and then you have an investor here who can also make sure it's
It's quite amazing, because that was my thought of the next question, like the intersection between creativity and tech, and you're actually doing it on stage right now. It's like real time happening here and now. Everything that this conference is about, like the intersection between music, tech, and education. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but I see it like a step by step, because I feel like our thing is proof of concept also, because we don't start an activity or a course without letting it come from the members. So we don't just shoot. We could shoot and just say like, would you like courses like this? But if they don't feel like they will use it in real life, then we won't do it. And this is people, some of the members are attending universities and so on, but they still feel the need to come to our special adapt courses. So some kind of need are we filling here, and it just feels some butterflies in my stomach when I hear Sauna Labs and like people that can scale this.
That's super cool, I believe.
Yeah.
So to all of you, we have been talking about it's so important of the fact of not only talking, and you are doers, all of you, and we are super inspired by that. So telling the audience here and everyone here, what can they start to do today when it comes to education and learning and going out there and become leaders in that sense? Start with Sophia.
I mean, it depends on who's in the audience, of course, but if we talk to the younger generation, I would love for people to consider becoming an entrepreneur. I think it's the best time ever to do something on your own. Technology is there, legislation is happening, you have a lot of capital flowing in, you have role models and you have hubs. So I think it's a brilliant time to start your own company. So if you ever have had that dream, I would say now it's a time to go for it.
Can I add that we will love people to become impact entrepreneurs?
Of course.
To really challenge, look at some of the global challenges.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurs and impact entrepreneurs.
Totally. And my sort of philosophy is that where the big problem lies, that's where the big business opportunities lies. So, I mean, lead by heart is also a good business. So I'm 100% with you on that.
And you will?
Yeah, and in terms of like what I think you could be doing in integration and education, I think you have to look at what you're sort of uniquely good at. And when we looked at that for ourselves, what we're uniquely good at is sort of artificial intelligence and how this can be applied to education. So when we look at how we could be helpful, we look at what areas of society are there that need this kind of personalization the most. And what we found was one project where it's still sort of a bit secretive, but we're working on a project with SFI. So in Sweden, 4 of 5 students who sign up for SFI, Swedish for immigrants, don't complete the courses. And one of the biggest reasons, if you speak to the teachers and as well as the politicians, is because of the lack of personalization. You take 20 students, put them in the same classroom with the exact same textbooks, one teacher, and they're expected to sort of solve the rest themselves. But if we could create sort of this adaptive, personalized learning experience for them, we think we could significantly improve the sort of engagement and learning outcomes of those courses. And that's where we saw sort of a sweet spot of a great societal need and what we're uniquely good at. And I guess there's opportunities for all kinds of intersections like that.
Great. And Faris?
I would say that it feels like we have a word in Swedish that's called eldsjälar, like fire souls. In Google Translate.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So fire souls where they work so hard to alone to resolve a problem, but the fire burns them up. So quite poetic. And I want to speak about it, but yeah, so I would love to see more people just giving a hand. And just giving that kind of, if you have 1 hour per week to just give back, then just trying to reach out to hubs that's quite near you, your city or just your house, to just ask what's going on and do you need help with anything? Because I feel, because a lot of our coaches are people that we haven't of 50 coaches, we've been scouting maybe 10. The rest of 40 just they just appeared as angels. So more of those kind of activities, because it will give a really big hand to the future entrepreneurs. And,
Can I summarize again?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
Find a super complex problem and start a company. Make sure that you find your uniqueness and the expertise. And please, please give people a hand, especially the fire souls.
Yeah, and that's quite simple. We all can do that, can't we? Yes, yes. So we are so happy that you all came today. And let us just go out there and make some change and actually deliver on the promise to eradicate poverty, fight climate change, make sure we get education for all, and also work on integration. Thank you so much.